the DJ mechanic as being a very physical mechanic, kind of replicating a Japanese arcade game called Kraken DJ, which features 2 turntables. And we really wanted to embody that in our mechanic, and we knew we had to create our own prototype to do this. So Dr. Laviola said, okay, well, I'll be your supervisor. I'll hook you up with 2 engineers, Tad and Mike, who created our first prototype as we envisioned the big boy, which is over there in the corner. And this is the hardware inside the big boy, which is the same hardware we use in the current gen prototype today. This is the big boy with our custom artwork. And this is the, we dropped the records down, well they did, from 38s to 45s, makes a little sleeker design. And they also custom fabricated our, style into the records as well. But also, we're greenlit now. So we contacted Fresh Produce, an outside music producer that we had been talking to about the game. And we said, hey, the product's a go. You still interested in working with us? And he said, yeah, let me send you some tracks. So Fresh Produce, actually, we feature 6 of his tracks, as well as 1 more for our menu system, as you'll see in a little bit. But as I said, unfortunately 2 teams were cut, and so we increased our team size by more than double. And we said, let's push all the areas of our game. Let's see where we go with this. So we started with our visual style and our characters. We really wanted to make it a bit more mature, a bit more iconic, and really started to find that as well as the visual target of our game. Our turn words were urban, aggressive, and stylized, which we think we really embodied, as well as, we were really inspired by Street Fighter, which we were really playing a lot of at the time, as you can see here. Yeah. And once we found our visual target, we kind of just moved forward, putting that everywhere we needed to prototype with, including the environment. We really wanted to do a club scene. We started concepting what our 3D UI would look like in this environment with our visual target. And once we found that, we moved on to roughing it out in 3D, roughing out the whole club, and then rendering it out in with our texture work. And this is the environment as you'll see today in the game. Also, we thought, the turntable is really the second player's avatar in the game since we have a 3D UI. So let's stylize that as well. So we started creating, different concepts for stylized turntables. Moving forward with that, this was the gum table as we called it, which later became the graffiti table, and is one of the 3 turntables that we feature in the game today. But we were nearing the end of pre-production, and we gave Nelson a call. And we said, hey, can we jump you back in the suit and get you in the studio? And he was more than thrilled, I'm sure, to get back in that suit. But he has very experienced with mocap, and so we jumped back in. We got a lot of great data, but we really need to end our prototyping and move into pre-production. So our programmers tied in our systems, our animation system, our audio, what have you. And we jumped into production. And at that point, we really started to see the personality of this game come through. Our cast of characters were certainly iconic. There's a lot of favorites, and a lot of the criticism we got early on was, we want to see them animated. When's that going to happen? Especially this guy, which I know Rick over here. The first time he saw that concept, every time after, he was like, when am I going to see that dino guy? You'll see him now. But one of the things we found in pre-production is that we're really moving along here. Why don't we push ourselves a little further? So we gave Nelson a call and we said, do you have any friends that have a more feminine dance style that we can have for a female dancer? And he hooked us up with Jamie, who dances a more feminine hip-hop style, which you'll see today is our female dancer Mina's dance style. But that isn't where we stopped. We thought, why don't we move forward with our environment? Why don't we do a second level? To contrast with the clean upscale club. And so what we did was we created the grungy warehouse, as you'll see here. We had the club under our belt, we had the visual style, so it wasn't as hard to integrate this level. And this is the warehouse as it is in the game today. And finally, we thought, okay, well, why don't we keep this theme of everything 3D within the environment? Why don't we put it with our menu systems as well? So we said, okay, where would you find the Sultans of Scratch? So we started concepting out a record shop. And we moved forward with this, with the Sultans squatting at this record shop. Everything would be in the record shop, the level select, the song select, what have you. And finally, as you'll see again, in the game today, all our menus are within this abandoned record shop. But, this whole thing, it's all about the team. It's all about the motivation and the passion they had because none of this would have been possible unless they all had buy-in into this game. And so it is my privilege to give all of you the Sultans of Scratch. Alright, so before we actually jump into the demo portion of the game, I just want to touch upon the mechanics that I spoke about, as well as some of the more detailed mechanics that need a little explanation. First of all, as I said, our game is a competitive, cooperative game, which means that there's 4 players, 2 teams composed of a DJ and a dancer, and they're facing off within 4 sets to perform the best dance show. Now, I said that all the UI is within the environment. As you'll see, the dancer, his UI is the note streams on the light wall behind him. The DJ's is the 3D turntable that responds to the peripheral itself. Now, this works in conjunction with our action note system. And the way this works is that it's somewhat like a fighter, where instead of giving the player discrete inputs, we give the player combo notes, which they can choose which moves they want to use. Now, for the dancer, he chooses which dance moves he wants to see his avatar perform. For the DJ, he chooses which sound effects he wants to hear. And this also works in conjunction with our dynamic difficulty system. Because we were looking at Rock Band, we thought, it's fun to play Rock Band, but when you fail and have to play the song again, why are you being punished? Why not reward the player for doing well, or the crews in our game? So if the crew performs well, they are given more notes. The game gets harder, but they have more opportunities to perform well. And you'll see that the environment also responds to this. You'll see that there'll be lasers going and other things to show that the crew is performing better than the other crew. Also, we have an announcer that we work with that's also an external co-worker, and he created all the animated sound effects that will kind of tell you how well or how poorly you're doing. And the last system that we have in place is called the passive spotlight mechanic. And the way that this works is that both teams, or both players, will be trying to pass the spotlight to their teammate. So they'll be filling this synergy bar, as we call it, along the light wall by hitting notes. Now, as they do this and they fill it, the dancer can pass to the DJ and vice versa. Passing to the dancer will give him a motion blur to all his moves. Passing to the DJ will light his table on fire. Now, doing this will dramatically increase your score, and this is how you really take advantage of the game. So, without further ado, I'm going to pass it to Ryan and Dave, and they're going to demo the game for you. Woo!
Okay, everybody gather around. We got 2 real respected crews in the house tonight, and they about to show their skills to all of y'all. Think you're ready for some real live entertainment? I see you shopping. We're open, don't be shy. You see something in the window you like? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, now it's time to choose your character. What are you feeling? Are you the DJ type or the dancer type? We're about to see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now it's time to choose your table. Make sure you're comfortable behind them. Make sure that fader's working right.